Real quick, before I start the review, I just wanted to say that none of my videos will have spoilers unless stated otherwise. I doubt that there will be many reviews out there where I feel the need to spoil something, but just in case you're worried about that kind of thing, I will tell you if I do. Anyway, onto the spoiler-free video.
But as it is right now, it's a Mario.
So, the Super Mario Bros. Movie just released, and I thought it was pretty okay. Honestly, this movie pretty much just met my expectations. It didn't blow my mind, but I also didn't really expect it to. At the end of the day, this is still an Illumination movie, and although that might sound bad, it's right up there with something like Despicable Me. I think I should start this out by talking about my favorite thing in the movie, and that's the visuals, because oh boy, this movie looks amazing. A lot of animated movies recently have been taking after the Spider-Verse animation style, and while that's really great and I truly do love that look, it should really only be done for certain movies. Like, it makes sense for Spider-Verse because it's supposed to look like a comic book, and it works for Puss in Boots because that movie's meant to give off a more dynamic and anime-like style of direction. I'm also very excited to see it used for that new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie because it looks like it reflects the tone of the movie. It kind of feels like a sketchbook of a middle schooler, which is perfect. But I have to be honest, that style should be kept for only those types of movies, because if you take a look at something like Mario, it makes absolutely no sense for it to be animated in that way. So while for a lot of other movies, this soft and smooth style kind of looks generic, I think it's perfect here. I also have to say that the action scenes and more intense sequences of the movie really benefit from the vibrant and explosive visuals. But, yeah, everything else in this movie is just kind of generic. I'm gonna try not to get too serious, since this is very much a children's animated movie, but some of the stuff here did kind of annoy me. I guess I'll start with the voice acting, because I didn't really love it too much. The best performance in the movie was far and away Jack Black as Bowser, and he was like really good, but everyone else was either okay or kind of bad. And I'm genuinely surprised to say that Chris Pratt wasn't even the worst performance in the movie. In fact, he was like top 3. Although I will say that I think I would have preferred it if Chris Pratt just used his regular voice, because believe it or not, he is doing an accent here, but it's kind of distracting. It's not like bad or anything, but it just kind of started to get on my nerves. I also have to say that I really did like Keegan-Michael Key as Toad. I've seen a few people complain about him, but I think he sounded pretty good. But yeah, other than that, everyone else was just kind of bad. I think the two standouts for me in terms of performances that I didn't like were definitely Anya Taylor-Joy and Seth Rogen. They weren't like the worst thing I've ever heard, but they were really distracting and kept pulling me out of the movie. But on the other hand, I'm also super surprised to say that the jokes in this movie actually worked for me most of the time. It's pretty rare that I even let out a little air from my nose during a joke in a movie, but there were a few times during this one when I had a good chuckle. And I think it just comes down to the fact that I am not immune to the fan service that studios throw into these movies. I am also a giant nerd. One thing about this movie that I was super conflicted on was the music. Because basically every originally composed song in this movie got me really excited, and they were such a cool mix of classic 8-bit soundtracks and modern scores. But on the other hand, the licensed music in this made me want to rip out my ears. It is genuinely so distracting when I'm trying to watch a Mario movie and I just start hearing some random ass pop songs that were just thrown in for no reason. And another frustrating thing about this one is how fast it moves. It has these super abrupt cuts and short scenes that really do nothing to further the story, but I feel like if this one was just a little bit longer, it could have been more rewarding to have those extra scenes. And I could keep going on and talking about how the themes are generic and thrown in your face, and the plot is pretty basic and messy, but at the end of the day, this is a kids' movie, and I think that is the most important thing to remember when you watch it. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and give the Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious movie a little sticker that says "Good Noodle" on it.